My family completely cut me off from a reunion I funded. Then they demanded I forgive my sister for stealing my money, so I served them an invoice at dinner and called the police. I should have known something was off the moment I pulled into the parking lot. No familiar cars, no noise, no cousins hanging out by the trash cans, pretending not to be seen, just silence. I double-checked the message. Friday at 7 p.m., Mateo's. Can't wait to see everyone. Sent by Mom 2 weeks ago. It was Friday, 7:02 p. I was exactly on time, like an idiot. Stepping inside, the freezing air gave way to soft jazz and clinking glasses. The place wasn't empty, but the private room I'd reserved was dark and locked. "Can I help you, sir?" the hostess asked, barely looking up. "Yeah, Thompson party, private dining room." She scanned her list. "Oh yeah, that was last night." My eyes widened. No, it's tonight. I paid the deposit. I booked it." She tilted her head. "Sir, they were here 16 people, big cake your mom brought, place cards." "Are you sure you're not mistaken?" I laughed, a dry, bitter laugh that died in my throat. "No, I'm not mistaken." She paused, looking embarrassed. "Do you want to call someone?" I didn't answer her. I was already dialing. The phone rang twice before she picked up. "Hi, sweetie," Mom chirped, her voice too light, too casual. "Everything okay?" I stared straight ahead. "Where's everyone?" A pause. Then that airy little laugh she always used when she knew she'd messed up but didn't want to admit it. "Oh, honey, it was yesterday. We thought you weren't coming, but don't worry. We'll bring you leftovers." I froze. "What?" She repeated it as if it were no big deal. "It was yesterday. We'll bring you leftovers." I didn't even say goodbye. I just hung up. No one called back, not Mom, not Rachel, not anyone. Then a text popped up. "Rachel Lomeo. Bro, you seriously missed it. Classic. Don't worry, we saved you one roll." I couldn't tell if my hand was trembling from the cold or from rage. I looked at the hostess. They came, they ate, they left. She shrugged. Looked like they were having fun. Of course they were. They usually do when I'm not around. I left without another word. I didn't call, yell, or write in the group chat, but I didn't go home either. I sat in the car with the engine off, staring at my reflection in the window, thinking about the bill, the credit card charge, and the 10 unread texts I'd sent my mother 3 days ago to confirm the time. They all knew. They simply didn't care. They had made that choice together, and tomorrow I'd make mine. You'd assume being deliberately excluded from a family dinner I paid for would be the absolute worst part. It wasn't. It was simply the final straw in 5 years of utter nonsense. This wasn't the first time they'd excluded me, not even close. It was just the first time they were honest enough not to pretend otherwise. Growing up, I was always an afterthought. Rachel was the brilliant one who just needed a little push to get started. I was the one who supposedly didn't require much. Their code for "you can survive without love, so we won't waste it on you." When I landed my first real job, I called Mom, bursting with pride. She didn't say, "Congratulations." She responded, "Bree, now you can finally help your sister with rent." That was the start. 1 month's rent turned into a year. Then bills. Then her dental surgery. Then car insurance. Then textbooks for her new nursing program, which she dropped after 1 semester and never paid me back for. I kept paying because I truly believe that's what you do when you love your family. But love in my family only flowed one way. Every time I even gently brought it up, I was hit with, "Stop being so transactional. We're family. Rachel's going through a lot, you know that? You're doing better than her. Why are you keeping score?" I wasn't keeping score. They just refused to acknowledge I was suffering. I remember one night 2 years ago, I'd just wired Rachel $600 for her emergency vet bill. Later that day, she posted an Instagram story featuring new shoes, new nails, and a guy's hand wrapped around a champagne glass. I showed Mom the story. She scrolled, smirked, and replied, "You boys always get so petty about money." Petty. I covered their property taxes last winter because Dad forgot, and the county issued a lien warning. I paid Rachel's credit card minimums for 6 months after she was laid off, even though I was barely making ends meet myself. One Christmas, I drained my savings to buy gifts for everyone. What did I get? A framed family photo? I wasn't even in it. But nothing compared to the night I discovered what they truly thought of me. It was about 6 months ago. I was staying at my parents' place for the weekend. I had just bailed Rachel out of another mess, this time with $1,200 after she had accidentally overdrawn her account again. I walked downstairs to get some water and heard voices in the living room. Rachel's voice. He's so obsessed with being the martyr. It's pathetic. Then another voice, probably Mom. I know he acts like he's some kind of savior just because he pays for things. Then a chuckle, likely Dad. Let him pay. He's not going to find a wife anyway. Might as well be useful. I stood in the hall, paralyzed. Rachel smugly repeated, "You know he thinks we'd fall apart without him?" A snort. "Please, if he disappeared tomorrow, I wouldn't even notice." I didn't enter the room. I went back upstairs, lay in bed, and stared at the ceiling. Mom made pancakes the next morning as if nothing had happened. After that, I stopped sending money for nearly 2 weeks. Then Rachel texted, "Rachel, I need help with my rent. I'll pay you back, promise." I didn't respond. 2 days later, Mom called. "Mom, Rachel's behind on bills. She's in a really bad place. You know she's sensitive. Why are you being cold?" I replied, "I just can't keep doing this." Her response was devastating. "If you're going to punish us for raising you, maybe we shouldn't have bothered." That broke me more than I realized at the time. I sent the money later that day. After all that, they held a family reunion without me. I paid for my dinner. I confirmed a specific time. When I called Mom to ask where they were, she had the gall to say, "It was yesterday. We'll bring you leftovers." Leftovers. Like a dog. Not a son, not a brother, just a wallet with arms. I sat in the car outside Mateo's for a long time that night. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I sat in that heavy, dense silence, thinking about every time I'd been the nice guy and how much it had cost me. Tomorrow, I wouldn't be the good one. Tomorrow, they'd discover what it's like when I stopped playing my role, and I knew exactly where to begin. I didn't sleep that night, not because I was sad, not even mad. Honestly, I was calculating. After tax and tip, my dinner at Mateo's came to $1,740. 16 people, appetizers, a customizable menu. I'd even paid extra for Rachel's vegan meal and Aunt Mary's wine allergy accommodations. They didn't simply forget me. They knew, yet they still went ahead with it. The following morning, I sent a message to the family group chat. "Me, let's meet at Mom's tonight at 7 p.m. I've got something for you." No one asked what it was. Of course not. They never asked me any questions. At 6:58, I pulled into my parents' driveway. Inside, they had already gathered. Rachel was on the phone. Dad was in his recliner drinking a beer. Mom fluffed the couch. Pillows as if expecting company. She looked up and grinned. "Hi, honey. We weren't sure if you'd still be upset." I said nothing. Rachel looked up, phony sympathy plastered across her cheeks. "You know we didn't do it to hurt you," she told me. "It was just easier for everyone to come Thursday. Most of us have lives." She said this with a straight face. I placed a large envelope on the coffee table. "What's this?" Mom inquired. I sat down, gently and calmly stating, "It's a bill." Dad scoffed. "A bill for what?" "For dinner," I responded. The one you all enjoyed without me? Rachel laughed. You're joking. I'm not. Mom narrowed her eyes. Are you seriously trying to make us pay you back? No, I replied, leaning forward. I'm giving you the opportunity because from now on, anything you want from me comes with an invoice. There was a quiet pause. Then Dad sat up straighter. You need to drop this attitude, son. We're family. Right, I responded. Family? The same family that intentionally excluded me from a reunion I paid for? The same family that strained me financially and emotionally for 5 years straight? Rachel rolled her eyes. Oh, come on, no one made. You pay. That's when something inside me snapped. I stood up. You know what? Fine, let's talk about what no one made me do. I pointed at Rachel. I wasn't made to pay your rent for 2 years, or cover your overdraft fees, or replace your transmission. I turned to Mom. I wasn't made to cover your back taxes or pay for your birthday cruise when you said Dad forgot, or pick up groceries when you suddenly couldn't walk because of your knee. Dad's face turned red. Watch it. Oh, I'm just getting started, I explained, pulling out a printed list from my pocket. You don't want to hear it. I do. I've had to live it. And then came the twist. I took out a folder and tossed it onto the table. What's this now? Dad demanded. I smiled. Documentation of every single transaction. Every wire, every Venmo, every Cash App, every receipt. Rachel snorted. Wow, you really are insane. No, I replied, dead calm. I'm protected. Because I filed a fraud report this morning. All of this, I tapped the folder. It's already in the system. What are you talking about? Mom inquired, her voice becoming hushed. I stared her directly in the eyes. Last week, I found out someone used my name to open a new credit card. The same one that paid for a new iPhone and a spa package, Rachel. Posted about but claimed was a gift from a friend. Rachel froze. I called the credit company. They're investigating it as identity theft. The address they gave them? Yours. She stood up. Are you kidding me? No, I replied. And if you think I won't press charges, ... you wouldn't dare. Mom hissed. Try me. The room exploded. Rachel yelled, You're pathetic. Dad shouted, You want to send your own sister to jail? You want me to keep playing the idiot forever? I responded. Mother burst into tears. You're destroying this family. No, I replied, walking toward the door. I'm finally saving myself from it. And now for the second twist. As I turned away, someone spoke for the first time. It was my cousin Luke, the quiet one. He rarely speaks at family gatherings. I'd like to pay my share, he stated softly. Of the dinner, I mean. It's only fair. Everyone looked at him, shocked. He added, and I know I should have said something, but they did plan to exclude you. I was there when they joked about it, said you'd be too dramatic. I'm sorry. I looked at him and smiled for the first time that night. Thanks. Then I walked out. They thought they could use me indefinitely, but they forgot one thing. Even the quiet ones eventually speak up, and when we do, we don't whisper. My phone buzzed the next morning at 8:17 a.m. It was a private number. I picked it up. Hi, is this Ethan Thompson? Yes, this is Officer Reynolds. Local precinct? We're currently following up on a report of financial fraud involving a credit card opened in your name. Your family was listed at the billing address. We'll be visiting the property today for a statement. I didn't say anything. For a moment. Then, do you need me there? No, sir. You've done your part. We'll take it from here. I hung up and sat in silence. For once, they'd open the door and find someone they couldn't gaslight. This time, I didn't need to speak. The police handled everything for me. I had believed that stillness would bring serenity. Instead, it created chaos. They say that removing the keystone from an arch causes everything to collapse. I wasn't the keystone. I was the entire foundation. The moment I stepped away, the house of cards crumbled. The police visit wasn't subtle. Mom left a long, angry voicemail stating they arrived at 7:45 a.m. while she was still in her robe. Dad hadn't even had his coffee yet. Two officers, one male and one female, polite but direct, were following up on an identity theft claim. The credit card was opened in your son's name. It was used for over $4,000 worth of purchases tied to this address. We need to know who had access. Mom's response: there must be some mistake. We're a good family. Classic. They asked to speak with everyone in the house. Rachel tried to leave in the middle of the conversation, claiming she had work. The officers asked her to stay. She cracked within 5 minutes. It wasn't even fraud. He always helps. I thought he wouldn't mind. Mom jumped in. She's under stress. She didn't mean it. Unfortunately, it was too late. The officer documented everything, videotaped it, and even demanded to see Rachel's phone. That's when things worsened. They discovered text messages from Rachel to her friend. Used my brother's information to plan a spa day for him. I DC he's such a pushover, he won't even notice. It wasn't just fraud, it was premeditated, and that was the proof. The same day, I received a call from a detective assigned to the case. We have enough to move forward with charges. Would you like to proceed formally? I requested him to grant me one day. That evening, my phone exploded. 27 missed calls, 41 messages. Mom, Ethan, please, we need to talk. It was just a mistake. She panicked. She's still your sister. Dad, you don't want to destroy her life over this. Rachel, you selfish guy. I'll lose my job, my apartment. You're doing this to your own family. It's funny how no one cared when I was losing pieces of myself for them. I waited one day. I then called the detective back. Can we temporarily pause the formal charges? He agreed, but he stated clearly, this doesn't go away. It just waits. That's when Mom made her move. She called me, her voice as delicate as silk across a razor. If you really want to fix things, come to the house. Let's talk face to face. Despite my better judgment, I went. I regretted it the moment I stepped inside. Rachel sat on the couch with a blanket over her as if she were the victim. Mom had the worried matriarch look down to a science. Dad didn't even get up. We just want to heal, Mom remarked. We? I inquired. We know you're hurt, but this is tearing the family apart. No, I replied. Rachel did that. Rachel's voice cracked. I didn't think you'd actually go to the cops. Who does that? Someone who's been pushed far enough, I said. Mom reached for my hand. Let's make this go away. We'll pay it back. You don't need the police. Funny, I said, because you didn't offer that before they showed up. She jerked away as if I had slapped her. Dad finally spoke. You're not perfect either. You think this makes you some kind of hero? I stared him in the eyes. No, it makes me free. And then I left again, this time for good. A new beginning. I relocated out of state 2 weeks later. Small town, quiet, friendly landlord. Rent is half what I paid back home. I spent my first weekend assembling IKEA furniture and listening to old songs I hadn't heard since college. I went grocery shopping and bought whatever I wanted. I sat on my own couch with coffee and a book, and no one knocked to ask for help. For the first time in a decade, I realized I was only accountable for myself. But here's the kicker. 3 weeks into my new existence, I received a handwritten letter. No return address. Inside was a folded piece of paper and a check. The paper stated, I don't expect you to forgive me, but I appreciate you taking the risk that I never would have taken. It was from Luke. The check was for half of Mateo's bill. I smiled. He didn't owe me anything, but he understood. And what about the rest? I never heard from them again. Not on my birthday, not for Christmas. Not even when Dad underwent surgery later that year. I only found out after seeing a distant cousin's Facebook post. And you know what? Good. They had now experienced what it was like to live without me. I had finally learned to live without them. People say that blood is thicker than water. They forget the second half of that quote, but the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. In other words, chosen loyalty is more important than common DNA, and I learned this the hard way. The last time I saw my family's faces was the day I left the house, clutching the folder and feeling a burning in my chest. What happened since then? Not one word. And the stillness that used to feel like punishment now feels like breathing room. A few weeks ago, I ran into someone from my hometown, a girl I attended high school with. She recognized me in the checkout line at the hardware store. "Hey, didn't you used to be Rachel's brother?" I paused and smiled. No, just like that. No shame, no hesitation, because I am not Rachel's brother anymore. I am not a decent son. I am not the bank. I'm not the person who shows up when everyone else is gone. I'm just me. And for the first time in 32 years, that is enough. They believed I couldn't survive without them, that I would crawl back, that I needed their brand of love. Their guilt trips disguised as concern and their control disguised as intimacy. They were wrong. I don't need Sunday dinners where I sit silently while others toast themselves. I don't need check-ins that are essentially setups for a request. I don't need to explain why I changed my phone number, moved without a forwarding address, or didn't show up for Christmas. Let them ponder. Let them stew. Let them explain my absence to extended family, neighbors, and themselves. They know, deep down, they pushed me away. And for once, I didn't beg to return. Want to know. The best part? They lost control the moment I stopped asking for love and instead demanded respect. Because people like that will use their families as weapons against you. However, the moment you disregard boundaries, they label you as cold, selfish, and broken. I'm none of those things. I'm finally no longer theirs. And Rachel, she didn't lose her job. She didn't go to jail. But you know what she did lose? Her facade. The entire family now understands what she did, how she lied, how she used me, and how she laughed behind my back while draining me dry. And now no one trusts her. Luke left the house. Aunt Lydia won't let her babysit anymore. Uncle Brian told me during a quick phone conversation. I didn't expect that. Rachel's name is mud at every family event. You don't need to come back. He told me they're the ones who messed up. We all see it now. But I told him the same thing I'll tell you. It doesn't matter who sees it. The question is, who made it out alive? So I did. So no, I am not going to pretend everything is wonderful. I am not going to send birthday cards or call out of guilt. I'm not going to show up for fake embraces and awkward potlucks so Mom can make passive-aggressive statements about how difficult it is to keep families together nowadays. I'm no longer theirs, and it's the best thing that has ever happened to me. I wake up now, and there is peace. I work and keep whatever I earn. I eat whatever I want. I don't apologize for saying no. I don't flinch when my phone vibrates. I don't hold my breath around people who say they love me. I am free. Not because they let me go, but because I finally stopped waiting for their permission. Let them keep their leftover dinners. Let them pass around my photo as if I had died. Let them chatter, let them beg, rant, twist the story, and label me the villain. I will still sleep like a baby. Because the truth is simple. When they closed the door on me, I didn't lose any family members. They lost me. And that is the first bill they will never pay.